Welcome to DT Madness, Chronicles from the Third Life, episode 66, July 1st, 2023. So glad you could make it. I'll have to say there has not been I've been, what do you say, lacking on a halftime theme this week. I'll say that really halftime starts at the beginning. For those of you who really long for the halftime, and wow, like what a huge week for stats um, for DT Madness. I don't know what happened. I don't know if the word has finally gotten out and it's spreading like wildfire. I really don't know. Maybe somebody just kind of listened to a whole bunch of them through the week, but um, typically, typically per week, we're looking at about 30, about 30 downloads. But last week, 72 downloads over the last 7 days and 162 over the last 30 days. And so my little graph that's on the Podbean app, it's got a nice little spike in it. I don't know what that means. Probably doesn't mean anything, but I just thought it was pretty cool. Um, I mentioned maybe last time about how I felt like perhaps my counselor was trying to break up with me, and I joked about that with her at my last session. When was that? A couple of days ago, and she was trying to indicate that she just wanted me to take stock, and that sometimes she doesn't recognize what I might need or what the person might need. And then I told her a couple of more things, and not soon after that, not long after that, she definitely stated that I had more work to do, um, which is obvious to anyone who knows me. I don't mean to make jokes about that. Therapy, man, it's these sessions. The sensory motor therapy is what I am involved in. That's what my person does. It doesn't have to be that for everyone. That's her particular expertise. Um, but yeah, talking to somebody else that is outside your normal sphere, talking to somebody about some stuff that you got going on, it's really good, man. It's really good. Um, speaking of really good, this is another thing I mentioned a couple weeks ago about how when people say, "Hey, what's good?" I was going to tell them about how my lawnmower all came in one piece and I didn't have to put it together when I ordered it offline, as the old folks say. But what's good now is I got this new nail file. Sarah got it for me because the previous one I had, it was too, I don't know, crunchy. What do you say? Like it had too much. It's too gritty. That's it. And I didn't, it just, but this one is like, how many? One, two, three, four, five, like seven in one. And it's got medium and medium fine, and it's got fine, and it's got smooth nail and shine nail, and it's all in one. Like you can hold it in your hand. It's about, what, 5 inches long and about an inch thick. Yes, I like it. And my nails are looking nice. I have to say that. My toenails are looking nice too because it's July and I'm definitely on summertime. So I got my orange and blue going back again. Just a recommendation if you have ESPN or some way to watch ESPN, on demand. You should check out this 30 for 30 about Bill Walton called The Luckiest Guy in the World. It's 4 episodes, just really fantastic stuff and a heavy Grateful Dead soundtrack. So you should check that out. We were watching Dirty Dancing the other day, which is a movie that my sister watched. She says she's watched it every week for the last 40 years or something like that. So I don't doubt it. but we definitely watched it a ton when I was a kid. And Isaac was kind of rolling his eyes at it. We just got to the final scene and where they were doing the dancing. And when she like was about to go run, like oh man, Johnny's down there like doing the dancing with the choreography with the rest of the crew, like the Dirty Dancing peoples. And then Baby is about to jump off the stage and run. Like I teared up, man. Like I really did. I don't know what hit me at that. Um, and anyway, another thing I've realized that I had missed so much that I didn't know about, like it's one of those little things, which is what, we miss about people. We miss when people are not around. It's the little things, and it's Sam's giggle is something that's been just amazing to watch different shows and to watch things that are funny and to hear him crack up. Um, Looking forward to going down to Huntsville with him in a week or so. Man, still reading Frederick Backman. Of course, I took a long time off with reading because I was doing the AP government reading and then the Zoom stuff, but all that's done. So I read this book called Anxious People. Oh man, it was just zany and funny. Like I laughed out loud a couple of times. It made me think of like seeing a play, like I could imagine seeing this done on stage. That type of that type of theater humor. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else. Um, but then also just people, recognizable people, and um, just beautiful, just zany and wonderful. I think is what I said about it. I'm on to Backman, another one by him called. Let's see here. My grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry. I'm just barely into it, and then I realized that there are a couple of others of his that I will need to get. This person passed by the other day and stopped. Like I was sitting on the front porch reading, actually, Anxious People, and this person stopped by. I think I know who it was, but I wasn't sure. And she stopped and rolled down the window and asked me some questions. Just like, "Hey, you doing your work for the fall, getting ready to teach and all that?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," just that kind of harmless communication. And she asked how the family was doing, which is a longer answer than me sitting on the front porch swing yelling at you across 20 yards, um, you know, 50 feet, and you're in your car in the road. Like that's just a longer answer. And so instead of saying good though, because that's one of those things that question, how are you? Well, how much time you got? And so instead of saying good, like my instinctual response was, we're doing the best we can, you know, which I think is the answer that I will always go with. Now, Sarah, my wife, will think that I answered that way because of Anxious People, but that isn't true because I hadn't even gotten to that point yet in the book. And so, really, Frederick Backman is taking, maybe it's Bachman, I don't know. Either way, he took my line, is the way that I see it. But we're doing the best we can, you know. That's gonna be my answer next time anybody asks me how you doing or how's it going. Doing the best I can, man. Back to the book, and then to end halftime, which is at the start of today's service. But I'm thinking about starting a library. Like I've got a huge collection of books. I've got so many books that they don't all fit on my awesome bookshelf that my dad made at the beginning of our marriage 20 something years ago. Like I don't, I've got books in this cabinet right up here in my nook. I've got a closet full of books at school, more books that I've even given away in the past. But I'm thinking about starting like an online library of some sort, like, $1 a month club type thing. And anybody that wants to borrow some of the books that we have so that um, we don't end up having to pay, Amazon or whatever. I know other people like actually go to real libraries, but I'm an Amazon guy. I appreciate it. Thank you, Jeffrey. But anyway, to get into what the real theme of today's podcast is, it's a playlist, life, Lyfe, and that's the title of the playlist is Lyfe, life, because that is how you spell it. Um, I made this playlist a couple of weeks ago, um, and I'm really glad about it. It's one of the better ones that I've made in some time, and I just kind of want to talk about the tracks that are on there. There are 26 tracks, and so I'm only going to do 13 this week, and then we'll have Life the Playlist Part 2 next week. So I don't know what that's going to do to my little stats graph. Maybe this will bring it back down. Um, but anyway, so the lead track is called "Here, My Dear" by the Tedeschi Trucks band, and I have to say, like there are a handful of female voices that I love to listen to. You know about Natalie Merchant. You know that I love Natalie Merchant. Um, I don't listen to Alison Krauss as much as I once did, but Alison Krauss, she sings on an album with Fish, if I could, uh, and she's, I mean, it's amazing. Emily France from Mandolin Orange, Watch House now, excuse me. And so like Kelly Clarkson, I don't really listen to her music, but that girl can sing now. Who else? I don't know. Like that's maybe pretty much the ones that I listen to. Um, but Susan Tedeschi is at the top of the list. She's she's at the top in the top couple. And this song, so I love a lot of their music, but this song is off one of their newer albums, and it's called "Here, My Dear." And the lyric says, you know, here's your here's your melody. So sorry it took so long. Here, my dear, is your melody. Sorry it took so long. I was lost in the wilderness, and that's where I heard our song. And that's meaningful to me, because I spend my time in the wilderness. I do. I'm sure I'll be back there, or maybe I'm there now, and I'm just in the less thick part of the woods at this moment. Um, but I do know what it's like to come out of that wilderness with a new song. Um, and she goes on to sing "Believe in Our Song." Oh man, good stuff, and just phenomenal music. Of course, Derek Trucks can wail on that slide guitar like nobody else. Saw him when he was like 20 years old back in Raleigh. Track two is Jimmy Buffett, "Pirate Looks at 40." And, my brother had the box set, Boats, Bars, Beaches, and Ballads. I don't know if that's which order the B's go in, but I went to a couple of concerts. I went to a handful of Jimmy Buffett concerts, mostly with my older brother. Um, Me and my guy Shields went a couple of times too. We've got some good stories from that. But listen to Jimmy Buffett a whole bunch. My dad had one of his first plastic records, which is what he calls CDs, was the Songs You Know by Heart, which is his kind of greatest hits compilation, and we would listen to it quite often. And then we listened to the box set all the time. So I love Jimmy Buffett because it takes me back to back in the day when I used to go to those concerts and kind of be a semi parrot head, but it reminds me of my dad and my brother, and plus it makes me think of the beach. But Pirate Looks at 40 is just one of those. What does he say? The occupational hazard is my occupation is just not around. Um, and is that I'm doubting myself right now. Like that is that in Son of the Sailor? Either way, Pirate Looks at 40. I'm pretty sure Jimmy Buffett talks about occupational hazard as my occupation is just not around, and I feel like that too. I hear college kids say, man, I just don't know what I want to do when I kind of when I grow up, and I'm like, yeah, me neither. Um, Track three is "Wish You Were Here," but the Widespread Panic version. No disrespect to Pink Floyd, but there's like a live album, 1997 New Year's, I believe, where what Widespread Panic does is they come out and they kind of play the songs that they began with. And so John Bell, JB, comes out and sings a couple solo, and then Mikey comes out and joins them, and then like the other members of the band as the timeline goes along. And the way that JB opens up Wish You Were Here is, and this is the song that kept getting us invited to parties. And man, it's just wow. It's just man, widespread panic. I spent my whole second life with them, and two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl year after year. You feel like that right now, like that we're just kind of mm, banging our heads against the walls. Track four, China Doll, which is a Grateful Dead tune. And this particular track is off the album Reckoning, which is one of their acoustic albums from 1980 ish, somewhere around in there. But, pick up your China Doll. It's only fractured, just a little nervous from the fall. Jerry at his finest. Track five is Looking for a Vein, Vein, which is how you spell vein. But it's from Dave Matthews Band's new album, Walk Around the Moon. And it's just, wow, it's about digging. At first, I thought maybe it was about like doing drugs, but it isn't. If you look at the lyrics, it isn't. He's down in a hole and he's digging and he's like banging on the walls with his pickaxe. He's looking for a vein, some type of seam of whatever ore he's looking for that's going to make him rich. But will it really make him rich, or will he just find a new hole to dig? He's digging. He's trying to work his way out. Track six is Salina, Avett Brothers. Man, the pictures have been popping up. 2018 has that been 5 years? 5 years since Sarah and I went to Red Rocks to see the three nights of the Avett Brothers. I mean, that was just one of those trips, one of those epic life altering trips. Um, Much needed. Salina, just such a great tune. I should know what album it's on, but I can't tell you at this moment. But it's look it up, and it's just a beautiful song about them being out on the road all this time. And I'm not really a roadie guy, but I do like to go on trips. I've got a couple on the schedule coming up, that we'll talk about on a podcast when I'm actually on the trip. But one of the things I love about the song is about how Carolina, someday, someday I'll come home. Um, I love going on trips because then I get to come home. Track seven is interesting because it's Natalie Merchant. It's 10,000 Maniacs from the Unplugged album, which phenomenal. Listened to it a billion times. Typically on a playlist like this, I would go with the opening track, which is These Are Days. But this time I went different. I went with Hey Jack Kerouac. And even a couple of times through the playlist, I've thought maybe I should switch it. But no, I'm not going to switch it because this is the one I went with um, first. And, it's about the beats. It's about Jack Kerouac and the guys. And it reminds me of my trip out west that I went to with the professors and the people from Maryville. And we went out, we worked at Yellowstone, we worked at Grand Tetons, and just what an amazing trip that was because I took On the Road With Me by Jack Kerouac. And I think I read 6 pages. Nothing against the book. It's just that we were all actually doing the thing, and so I wasn't reading a whole bunch. I was just journaling and seeing all the amazing things. It reminds me of one of the professors that was out there who continued to challenge me in the way that I thought. It reminds me of Dr. Theato, who I had a class with at Gardner Webb, who was a big beat guy, and made me recognize the poetry of Allen Ginsberg, Howl, and also taught me that Michelob was best served at 46 degrees Fahrenheit. The things that you remember from from college. Track eight is Elephant from Jason Isbell. Um, it's from his Southeastern album, which you know is probably his best. Um, I go back and forth, but this song is one that I don't listen to every time it goes through because it is so heavy. It's about his friend that's dealing with and dying from cancer. Um, you know, the elephant is the that realization and what it's like to be with someone who's in that situation because you don't know and they don't know like what's next. That's the elephant. So man, such a good one. Track nine is About to Run from Trey Anastasia's Ghosts of the Forest album that he wrote when when one of his friends died. And it says, some of the lyrics, sometimes the ghost is quiet, but the ghost is always there. Seems no matter how far I go, he goes with me. And that's a heavy song for me, but I'll say, like, the ghost is there, but we're being friends a little bit more. Um, because I'm maybe not running as much, but instead, what am I doing? I'm inviting the ghost in for tea. Recognizing the parts of me, welcoming. Track 10, and there's only a few more, is Upside Down. That's Watch House, again, formerly Mandolin Orange. This is off one of their newer albums, where it's just their duo. But it's called Upside Down, and it's just about their kid that was just born. And Andrew is such an amazing lyricist, and the way that Emily expresses those words and the way that she sings. I have something on my mind. Was it you on the other side, just trying to find your way home to me? Now your footsteps echo in the hall. You've known me all your life. I swear I've missed you all of mine. And now you're here. And I'll always be right by your side in this and the next life. And you turn my life upside down, you kid. Track 11 is Wake Up Time, um, off the Wildflowers album, Tom Petty. It's time to open up your eyes and rise and shine. Hear that? Wake up. Wake up time. Track 12 is The Maker from Dave Matthews Radio City Music Hall. It's just Dave and Tim. Um, I could not see for the fog in my eyes, and I could not feel for the fear in my life. But from across the great divide in the distance, I saw the light. And again, later, a common theme, Old River, Rise from Your Sleep. Final track for this week is Joe Cocker, live 1990, with a little help from my friends. Obviously a Beatles song, but one of those that Joe Cocker has kind of made his, the way that he wails. Lend me your ears and I'll sing you a song. I'll try not to sing out of key. That's it, man. Like, we just got everybody labeled up and boxed up. We've been had, is what is real. And we've been told what to think and how to think about each other. And if I find out you have a letter beside your name, or if I find out you have this label, or if I find out you have this idea or this belief, then I can wrap you up and box you up and put a nice little bow on you and know exactly who you are. But why don't you just, I want to listen to your song. I know you're trying not to sing out of key. Give me that benefit of the doubt too. You can't you can't make it on your own in this crazy world. You need to have your friends to help you to make it down this road. We just put some love in our hearts, some heart in our souls, and together we're going to make it all the way on down this road. So that's the first half of Life, the playlist, brought to you by, this is a Church of Six production, brought to you by the Bucket of Life, the Magic Rock times 2, the Foundation Tower of Stone, the Wall of Belief, you got that? The Token of Hope, and the Rope of Reverence. Because life is to be revered, man. This is a crazy, wonderful, wild, zany, special, amazing thing that we get to do. So let's wake up. Let's rise from our sleep. Stop letting the powers that be tell us how we have to think about each other. The rope of reverence for life, for each other. Nothing divine is desperate. May all your circumstances serve to awaken compassion. And as you go, teach peace. Don't forget to believe and be live. Peace, my friends.